Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. I've now been running this YouTube channel for over a year and a half. My first video was December 14th of 2018, and the entire time that I've been running this channel, I've been speaking out against maximalism, as it is not only completely illogical, but counterproductive as well. And so while it's very clear, if you've watched more than one or two of my videos, that I am very pro-XRP, and this happens to be an XRP-centric YouTube channel, that just speaks to the fact that that's what I'm genuinely interested in. And I find it to be true in life that you don't choose what you're interested in, rather you discover it. And so when I discovered I'm interested in Ripple and XRP to a high degree, I just ran with it, and I got engaged in the XRP community, and I started this YouTube channel, and I'm having fun with it. But I don't think that XRP is going to be the one coin to rule them all. And while it's true that I've spoken about my concerns about the long-term viability of Bitcoin and certain other cryptocurrencies, it's not my position that there shouldn't or won't be other cryptocurrencies. It's not my position that I'm not stating definitively that Bitcoin will go the way of the dodo, my favorite extinct avian creature. I've just voiced concerns about it. Yeah, I tease Bitcoin a little bit, but that's more so just to kind of make fun of the maxis who like to rip on XRP for ideological reasons. So when I tease Bitcoin, it's not like I actually think for sure it's going to be gone or go to zero in terms of price action or not be adopted. I'm just skeptical based upon its technical limitations, layer 2 not scaling at all to this point. And then there's the concern about the centralization of mining in China. I think those are all legitimate concerns and points of discussion. But there are certain people out there that say, no, whatever my coin of choice is, that's going to be the one to rule them all. That is it. And everything else is garbage. And you see this most prominently within the Bitcoin community. And perhaps my perception is that because there are a lot more people in the Bitcoin community than other communities. And so even if there's a maximalist for Ethereum or even XRP, or pick anything that's lower in terms of market cap and has a smaller community, it's just not as noticeable. So probably there are, out of any coin, which tribe, if you will, because there's tribalism, which has the most maximalist, I'd suspect that it would be Bitcoin there. So we're going to talk through this. I've got opinions and information from Ripple CTO David Schwartz. I've got a piece covering Brad Garlinghouse's take on Bitcoin, which has been public for some time, so I'm just going to be brief on that, but I wanted to cover it. And also, there are recent comments from Vitalik Buterin, creator of Ethereum, who speaks out against maximalism. But before I share any more of my thoughts and opinion and analysis and just what's in the news, if you would please delicately tap that like button, I would certainly appreciate it. And also, if you are a fan of Ripple and XRP, but are not a maximalist because they don't make no damn sense, then go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. Join the echo chamber. Now, this was funny to me. I don't know why it made me chuckle. Maybe I shouldn't. You can see what I have pulled up on my screen here. It's Investopedia.com. Fine website. And I found out when I was preparing for this video that a couple years ago, they added an entry for Bitcoin maximalism. Now, this website, you can find all sorts of stuff. You can learn about anything financially related. You just even simple stuff like what is compound interest? What are derivatives? Just you can type anything in here, and it's a fine website. I use it with a certain amount of regularity. But Bitcoin maximalism is in here, and it just kind of made me chuckle here. So there you go, crypto mainstream, and it's certainly acknowledged to be a real thing here. Now, here's a piece from you today titled, Bitcoin Maximalists Will Be on the Wrong Side of History, according to Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin. I'm liking this guy more and more. Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin has taken a swipe at Blockstream CEO Adam Back after he compared his brainchild to some of the best-known Ponzi schemes and con actors. Buterin warns that the tides of history will not be kind to Back and other Bitcoin maximalists. And here's his quote, literally, the tides of history will not be favorable to maximalism. Now, the Russian-Canadian programming prodigy claims that the tired old propaganda that is being spread by maximalists is becoming less and less effective. Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more, because the more time passes, the more you see other cryptocurrencies continuing to exist, and some actually taking hold. Let's think about XRP being used in enterprise-ready software. Think about that. XRP is functionally being used to help businesses conduct cross-border transactions today. I think almost nobody on the planet even knows that, and here we are, fans and engaging in the XRP community, and there are all sorts of YouTube channels like this one. There are all sorts of other ones as well, and most of the world has no clue what's happening. It's the birth of an asset class, and I think there's tremendous opportunity here as well, but just people don't get it. And then in hindsight, I shouldn't have been surprised. When I joined the world of crypto in November 2017, I was like, oh, cool, I'm part of the general broader crypto community now. And then I found out that I wasn't. I effectively felt like I had been excommunicated once it was made public. I made public that I'm a fan of Ripple and XRP. I didn't know that to all the Bitcoiners, that was a big no-no. Just, my gosh. It's like, is your Bitcoin so fragile that you can't handle competition? I don't even view it as direct competition, because developers aren't really positioning it, generally speaking, to take hold for the same use cases. But even if you view it as that, my gosh, is your Bitcoin so fragile that it can't handle this? It's completely ridiculous here. We're going to talk more about BAC a little bit later in the video, but I wanted to jump into this first. This comes from thecurrencyanalytics.com. And this is a piece about Ripple CTO David Schwartz, who was on Charlie Shrim's YouTube channel. And I actually watched this video. I watched the whole thing. It was very interesting. I think it was a little over an hour long. Maybe it was a little shy of an hour and a half. I can't remember now. But it was interesting, and that's what this article is covering. And I always enjoy hearing David Schwartz's insight, and there was quite a bit here. So check this out. Any talk about XRP easily leads to a futuristic vision where Ripple will replace the banking system. That's not true. It's supposed to just work with the banking system. So this crypto media outlet's getting it wrong, but they probably just wrote this article and don't know a ton about Ripple and XRP. That's what I generally see in crypto media. Businesses, small, big, and giant corporates, are taking advantage of the cost-effective transactions facilitated across borders by making use of the remittance systems provided by Ripple. Ripple already working in collaboration with major service providers like Santander Bank, MoneyGram, and others. David Schwartz recently expressed that maximalism does not help crypto move forward. In the Charlie Shrim show, Joel Katz, that would be David Schwartz, that's just his name on Twitter, spoke about building one of the most controversial and the most used cryptocurrencies, XRP. They have covered spectrum of decentralization, money control, and Bitcoin, censorship resistance, XRP, and banks. And that podcast was really interesting because Charlie Shrim has said some very negative things about Ripple and XRP, and in this podcast, he acknowledged, and to his credit, seriously, he acknowledged that he was a toxic Bitcoin maximalist in the past, and that he took inventory of the way that he was mentally processing things and said, no, maximalism is counterproductive, and he went in depth into his reasons why. But his mind was changed, and so it's not like all hope is necessarily lost for some of these Bitcoin maxis that are out there. But David also pointed to how banks, unless they are payment banks or payment specialists, don't like payments. They don't make a lot of money on it. Their customers complain a lot about it. Where is my payment? My payment did not go through. The fees are super high. And of course, the bankers got to keep those fees as they are paying those fees to larger banks. And I pointed that on this channel many times, especially when you're talking about the cost of settlement. It's the larger banks that have the Nostro accounts all over the world, not the small and medium-sized banks, so they have to pay their larger competitors to tap into the Nostro accounts. So anyway, piece continues. So what banks did, as their customers are upset about the payments being expensive, decided to be just okay with payments, kind of like average quality in terms of payments, which was kind of an interesting take here. And by the way, and I should mention this too, this is a really fascinating thing, and I wasn't prepared to talk about this, so I might get... I know I'm going to get the facts slightly up, but the concept is so interesting that since it's in my head right now and I haven't spoken about this, it's worth mentioning. David Schwartz mentioned something on this podcast that he has never publicly spoken about, and to my knowledge, nobody has, which is that while XRP was in beta, It was, mind you, at this point, so it's in beta. It's not on exchanges. It is literally worth $0. It's worthless. XRP at this time in beta, not being used, not being traded, completely worthless. And so at some point, they had the code opened up in such a way that people could log into the XRP ledger, which ultimately became the final version of the XRP ledger, and you could go in and you could take however much XRP you wanted just to test it if you were a developer. Because again, at this point, they didn't even know that was going to be the final version of XRP. Now, if you could travel back in time knowing that, you could go ahead and take a bunch of XRP, and then it ultimately did become the final ledger. Now, that is a fascinating story, right? I had never heard that before. And he explained in a little bit more technical detail. I'm sorry, I can't do that. I wasn't really prepared to talk about it, but it was so interesting and popped in my head I wanted to share that with you. But you can check out that particular podcast if you want to check it out. But that's essentially what he was talking about here. Now, even Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse, and this is a piece from June of last year, but Brad Garlinghouse is long Bitcoin. And of course, this is being Bitcoinist.com. They portrayed it in a light that isn't exactly fair, but some of the facts are right. That's typically the case with Bitcoinist.com. But this was titled, Ripple CEO Shows He's Not an XRP Maximalist After All. Well, this was known, I mean, I can think even... Certainly 2018, he had talked about how he's long Bitcoin. He may have been even in 2017 here. But Brad Garlinghouse also believes that there will not be one coin to rule them all. And you can think about this from a logical perspective. Different people and businesses want different things from different cryptocurrencies. And different cryptocurrencies have different technical attributes and will be adopted in different ways. And also standards matter. Once a cryptocurrency is in place, even if another one could do something similar, good luck supplanting it. And so these are all a bunch of reasons that it doesn't make any damn sense to be a maximalist of any coin here whatsoever. And so I first saw this information about Adam Back thanks to Frecky, so shout out to you for tagging me along with some others here. And so Adam Back wrote, BitConnect, Charles Ponzi, Ethereum, OneCoin, Cardano, Ripple, Bernie Madoff, Stellar, Dan Larmer, all look very similar to me. And Leah Halpern, who is I don't know if the title would be journalist, maybe, I'm not sure, but she's in the world of crypto. She wrote, do you think Ethereum is a scam, criminal, and illegal, or do you think it's adding value to the ecosystem in terms of dApps that are being built on it, etc.? Adam Back responded, well, 70% pre-mine says it all. Which would you say is a bigger scam, Ripple or Ethereum? So here's the key piece that Adam Back is missing here. Because what he's talking about here, and he says Ripple, I guess he means Ripple because they're holding a bunch of XRP, right? And so, first of all, Ripple didn't create XRP. They were gifted a ton of XRP. Ripple, the company, was formed after the XRP ledger was created. You can look this up. That's historically true. You cannot dispute that unless you want to just put blatant lies out there. And so you can talk about a concentration of wealth, and that's fine. But, what if a concentration of wealth occurs even more so on other ledgers or Bitcoin? Is that suddenly a scam because there's a concentration of it? I don't think that's the right way to approach this. In terms of decentralization, understand that nobody... Ripple doesn't have any special permissions over the XRP ledger. I mean, they run, like last I checked, 6 of 36 validators on the XRP ledger, which comes out to about 16%. They don't have any special permissions. And I would also state that, and David Schwartz talked about this actually on the Charlie Shrim podcast that I mentioned, that there's this idea, this is David Schwartz's idea, and I agree with it. It's that nobody can force anybody to purchase XRP. It has an open market value because that's what humans today are deciding it's worth. Whatever it's worth at the given moment, that's what humans have decided it's worth. And so, excuse me. And so it's like if you think that you could do the same thing, like why don't you do it? If you build a cryptocurrency, it's on you after you build it. Like I was talking, when XRP was in beta and once it was launched, it still was valued at 0. You have to build an ecosystem around that, and if you're the people that created the ecosystem, I think it's only fair that you get to set the initial rules around it, and then if people like it, they can jump in, and if they don't, then they won't. And I don't see a problem with that. As long as there's sufficient transparency, what the heck does that matter? It's not a scam if there's transparency and you know what's going on within the ecosystem. So to me, it's just completely nonsensical, and I couldn't disagree more. And so I don't know how this whole crypto ecosystem will continue to develop, but I will say that it's worth continuing to speak against toxic crypto maximalism no matter what the coin is. There will not be one coin to rule them all, period. But tell me what you think below. I would love to hear from you, man. But that's it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!